Hey everyone, Mo here, and before the video begins, I just want to let you guys know that my schedule is opened up for me to do coaching again. So if you're interested in private one-on-one coaching for me to help you, whether you're a newer player and you want to excel at the game very quickly and learn the fundamentals without developing any bad habits early, or if you're an experienced player who's already maybe platinum or diamond in your top 1%, but you need some help filling in the gap to get you to that 0.01%, to make you just some of the best, then hit me up on Discord and I can get you in some private one-on-one coaching lessons to help you polish up any skills you want to refine and help you learn all of the secrets to becoming a top player. That's it. I hope you enjoy the video. Hey everybody, and welcome to this deck guide for dummies, and this is going to be on the Burble Burn or TF Fizz combo deck. So, for those of you who don't know, this deck kind of just popped up recently in popularity. You know, people like Drisoth and a couple other people have been playing this deck for a while now. It first really got showcased whenever Glop brought it to the TLG Targon Invitational tournament, and I think he like top 8'd or top 4'd with it or something like that. He did pretty well with it. And he was one of the only people to not bring Targon. And so then it kind of caught people's attention. Other people started playing around with it and bringing it. And just recently, someone named Drisoth hit rank 1 with the deck. And his version was not like everyone else's version. So which makes me think that that version is probably the best version, as well as he's probably knows something about the deck that we don't. So I went ahead and I sat down and I talked with him for a couple hours. Had him teach me the deck. Got well informed on why each card was in the deck, why he wasn't playing some of the main cards like Mind Meld and Suit Up that every other deck is playing. And after that, I felt like, you know, he passed on the torch to me. I've learned and mastered the deck. And since then, I've brought it to 2 different tournaments. And in both Swiss rounds, I had a combined score of 8-2 with the Burble Burn deck, and it got 1 ban. So I had 80% win rate in a tournament against really, really good players. It also made top cut in one tournament, and it almost made top cut in the other. I lost in my very last round, but not because of Burble Burn. So I almost top cut in 2 tournaments, like 300-person tournaments, using this deck in my lineup, and went 8-2 overall. So very excited. I love this deck. This deck is actually super fun and super good. And the version I'm playing here, like I said, is the Drisoth version, the rank 1 version. He had, I think, 1300 LP, or I know he had over 1200 LP with this deck, and I'll go over why each card is in here. I'll go over why I'm not playing bad cards like Mind Meld and Suit Up, and I'll show you guys a couple games with the deck and just show off like how to play it. So if you guys like these deck guides and want more videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. 86% of the people that watch my videos aren't actually subscribed to me, so hitting the subscribe button will actually help tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. And then if you change your mind later, you can always just unsubscribe for free. So that's it. Let's go ahead and get into this deck guide. So Burble Burn is a very fun combo deck with the combo finisher and Burblefish. If you look at this deck just card by card, the cards are really, really bad. And it looks like a really shitty deck. However, all the cards somehow come together to help you with a really OP payoff, which is a bunch of Burblefish and then burning your opponent out. If you recall, we had another deck recently that terrorized the meta named Go Hard, and that deck also played a bunch of really, really bad cards. But then somehow managed to win the games. And everyone memed on Go Hard for the first start, until people were like, oh hey, this deck's kind of like tier 0 and the best deck in the game. And that's what I think happened with this deck. So I actually got on the Burble Burn plan way before everyone else, and I talked to Drisoth before other people started picking up this deck, so that way I could play this deck well and like have this deck basically mastered while everyone else was still figuring it out and tinkering with their deck list. And I'd like to say that I have this deck down pretty well. So let's go ahead and go in here card by card and look at why I play each cards, and then I'll go over general tips with the deck, and then I'll go over why I'm not playing some of the cards that everyone else is playing to answer all your burning questions, like why I'm not playing Mind Meld. So let's start with Portal Cannon. It's very standard. 0 mana spell to trick people with Fizz. A lot of times, like, you can go turn 1 Fizz, and then if they try to go hard or they try to Thermo Beam or anything on Fizz, you can catch them out with a Portal Cannon. And then the game heavily swings in your favor because you just took away one of your opponent's like only resources to kill Fizz on that turn. And then after that, you'll always have mana open for spells. And then they can never really challenge Fizz once you have spell mana open, or mana open in general, because you'll always have a spell. So that's always really nice. Death Ray. So Death Ray is an uncommon card that me and Drisoth play. And it's because this card is really, really good at removing units without having to expend your burn spells. So first of all, it's 1 mana, deal 1 damage. So that's really good because it helps kill those Fizz, it helps kill those Teemos, it helps kill those Zoes on turn 1. So anytime your opponent slams down a 1-mana X1, like Fizz Teemo Zoe, then you can just meet it with the Death Ray and you're chilling. And then it curves up, and then you eventually draw a Mark 2 and then a Mark 3, and it helps you kill things later on. The biggest thing about this is that, again, it helps you kill things without having to actually use your burn. So at the late game, yeah, this early game plan of early game, you're kind of just chilling and you're setting up for your mid to late game combo. Mid game, you have like this combo turn where you're going to play 3 to 4 Burble Fish or Zap Spray Fins or something of that nature, and you're going to hit your opponent with a bunch of elusive units and get them pretty low, get them to about 6 to 9 HP. And then after that, your late game plan is always just burn. If you notice, the deck plays a lot of burn. It plays 2 Aftershocks, 3 Get Excited, 3 Mystic Shots, 1 Static Shock. So, and you can always get like parlays and stuff like that off of your created 1-cost spells. So you play a lot of burn in this deck as your top end finisher. So with Death Ray, this means that if you want to remove something on turn 2 or 3, or 4, or anything like that, that has 2 health or 3 health, then you're killing it with like a Death Ray Mark 3 or Death Ray Mark 2, instead of having to use a Get Excited or a Mystic Shot. Every time you have to use a Get Excited or a Mystic Shot to remove something, it feels really bad because that's 1 less burn card you have to kill your opponent in the future. Like, imagine if your opponent's at 5, and all you have in your hand is a Mystic Shot because you had to use a Get Excited earlier to kill a Draven. Or maybe you have to Get Excited, but you had to use the Mystic Shot earlier to kill your opponent's Twisted Fate in the mirror match. Like, you'd feel really bad if that late game, you needed that 1 burn card that you used on removal. So that's why Death Ray is really, really good at controlling the boards in the mirror match and controlling the board just in general against aggro-ish or creature-based matchups. Fizz, just because he's a nice elusive unit that's impossible to kill. He gets chip damage in. Rummage, because we like drawing cards. Ballistic Bot, because the ignition is actually insane. First of all, it's a 1-mana spell, which is really good at leveling up Fizz and Burble Fish. It's basically like a 0-mana spell towards the late game when you go like, if you have 2 Ballistic Bots in play and you go cast Ignition, and those are the last 2 ignitions that it takes to take your Burble Fish down to 0. Once you do that, then all you're doing is trading spell mana for Burble Fish mana, which is absolutely broken. Like, there's literally not a mechanic. The only mechanic like that is Dusk Petal, where you can turn spell mana into unit mana. And other than that, there is no other way to actually turn spell mana into unit mana because it'd be absolutely broken. And then even in Dusk Petal's case, sometimes it is really, really strong. Like, you get to play your Eclipse Dragon on turn 6, which is, like, insane in a lot of matchups. So, the getting ignition is insane. Also, a lot of people don't actually respect Ballistic Bot because they're like, oh, well, if I just play chump blockers, he can never attack me with the Ballistic Bot. So all he's doing is spending mana to do ignition damage. Because people see your Ballistic Bot being like a 5-3 or a 6-3, and they're like, oh, who cares? I have, like, a blocker. So they're like, as long as he's not attacking me with it, I don't care. However, you like are really happy with just getting in this burn damage with ignition. I've actually used Ballistic Bot to deal 4 damage. If you can use Ballistic Bot to deal 4 or 5 damage, you basically just played a 2-mana Decimate with a body attached to it. And that's absolutely crazy, and people just don't get that until it's too late. And by the time they realize that how much damage they're taking from the Ballistic Bot, they now have to use a removal spell on the Ballistic Bot, which means that they're not using a removal spell on your Burble Fish, and you're very, very happy in that scenario. So Coral Creatures. This is another card that people ask me, why are you playing Coral Creatures instead of something like Pool Shark? The answer is Coral Creatures is a really good anti-aggro card, being a 1-2 that doesn't burn a card. Pool Shark is also a 1-2, but you can never play Pool Shark early. You can't play Pool Shark before like turn 4 or 5. And like maybe you can play Pool Shark on turn 3 at like the earliest. And even then, like, it still feels really bad if you get a Pool Shark into like a Burble Fish or something. Or if you played even earlier than that, then you can get a fleeting, like, pick a card, and then now you're just in this string of really bad decisions. So I like Coral Creatures. Also, it generates you a random 1-spell card, or 1-cost spell, which is sometimes really, really good. Other times, it just helps you with discard fodder for things like Get Excited and Rummage early on, as well as it has a tune, so this is really a 1-mana 1-2, so it's the same cost as Pool Shark. It's still a 1-mana 1-2, except it gets you a spell, and you're not burning a card early. You can actually play this card on turn 2 or turn 3. We play Iterative Improvement for our combo turn later. I'll talk about with Burble Fish. Mystic Shot, Get Excited because we're on a burn plan late game. Pick a card to help set up into your combo turn. Aftershock for both burn and to help your Targon Plaza matchup a little bit better, and your Scouts matchup a little bit better. Salvage because we like to level Twisted Fate. Static Shock for the same reason. It helps you level Twisted Fate, as well as in the burn matchups and in the mirror matchups. Static Shock is insane. If your opponent has just regular Burblefish in play and not iterative improvement Burblefish, so if they don't have 4-2 Burbles, all they have are 3-1s, then Aftershock can basically just be a 2-for-1 and remove 6 damage on the board from the Burblefish, which is really, really good. As well as Aftershock can kill things like 1-1, and it against discard aggro, it's really good because it kills off like all of your opponents like 3-1s and stuff like that. Twisted Fate, because it's the most broken champion in the game, has been for a long time. I expect this card to get nerfed sometime in the future. Zap Sprayfin, because it's elusive, so we like having elusive damage, as well as it just draws you more cards. It gives you more draw engine. It's just a 3-mana 2/2 elusive that draws you cards. And then Burblefish as your game ender. And people are asking, why is Burblefish so good? And I'll tell you why. 0 mana 3/1 is good. 0 mana 4/2 is good. 0 mana 3/1 elusive is great. 0 mana 4/2 elusive should not be in this game. So what happens at the end game is you play all these spells in the mid game. You set up with a pick a card, so you have a bunch of you'll have a bunch of cards in your hand. Typically, this is about turn 6, turn 7. Turn 6, turn 7, you're gonna have a bunch of cards, probably a full hand of cards. If any of those cards is a combination of Burblefish and iterative improvement, you're probably winning the game on turn 6 or turn 7, because you're just gonna flood the board with 3-1s and 4-2s, and your opponent literally cannot handle how much damage you're doing. Like, they will not have enough mana to remove all of your units, unless they're playing stuff like Avalanche, Withering Wail, Ruination, stuff like that. But then you have to play around that accordingly. But if you're playing in something like, as Draven, assuming they've spent any of their mana at all during the early turns, they're not just going to have, like, full spell mana. And then even if they do, every time they go to kill something, it's costing them 2 mana minimum. Like, best case scenario, they have triple Mystic Shot. That's all 6 mana on their turn 6. And they're still only removing 3 units, whereas you could play, like, Burblefish and then double Iterative, and then you also have, like, your Zap Sprayfin and every other unit you have in play. Like, you can literally put 6 of these units into play for free on turn 6. And your opponent just can't deal with them, and they're taking 9 damage. And then on top of that, whatever damage they don't... Let's say you don't kill them on that turn. Well, you do a significant amount of damage, you just kill them the next turn with, like, double Get Excited, or Get Excited Mystic Shot. This game is definitely a game just about chip damage early. You're just going to go for your early game chip damage. You're going to go for your big combo turn, and then you're going to finish them out with burn. And that's typically the play pattern for this deck. So I'll answer the questions of why am I not playing Suit Up, why am I not playing Mind Meld, and that's because I think both of those cards are very much win more. I could see playing Suit Up if the meta becomes very, like, Withering Wail and Avalanche dependent. It'll be Suit Up could be pretty decent there because it stops your units from dying to Withering Wail, which is really, really big. Getting the +3 power from Suit Up isn't very useful, but getting the +3 health is pretty useful against things like exactly Withering Wail. The reason I'm not playing Mind Meld is because I think Mind Meld is a very bad card. I think Mind Meld is a very win more card. It doesn't actually change any matchup spreads. It doesn't help you in any tables that you weren't already winning in. The card's going to be useless most of the time. Maybe 1 in 20 games, the card will be actually, like, it'll win you the game. Most of the time, people will make this argument of, like, well, how do they stop you having, like, a full board of 2020s? And my response is, if you have a full board, you're winning the game anyways. Like, if you literally have 4 or 5 elusives in play, you don't need Mind Meld because you're killing them. Like, the burn plan with the double Aftershock, triple Get Excited is way more consistent than playing a 1 or 2 of a card that relies on you having a bunch of units in play. It's just way more consistent, it's way more flexible, and it's overall just not bad. I think Mind Meld is just so bad. Like, I love when my opponents are casting Mind Meld, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to remove your units, and then I'm just going to swing, and then I'm going to burn you out. You don't need Mind Meld, guys. Mind Meld, it doesn't actually win you the game. It win you a lost game. Like I said, maybe 1 in every 20 games, it'll win you a game that you had no chance at winning, like a Miracle Top Deck or something. But most of the time, any game that you're going to win with Mind Meld, you are probably already winning with Burblefish, and then you could have just won with burn spells. You didn't have to go play this really bad card. So that's it for the deck overview. That was kind of long. It was a lot longer than I wanted to, but this deck is very intricate. This deck does have a lot of parts to it, and you do have to know why each card is in the deck, because it's a combo deck. And this isn't just like a standard aggro deck or mid-range deck where I can just say, like, oh yeah, there's, like, 13 3-ups in this deck, and they're all units, so just play your units on curve. Like, this deck has a lot of moving parts to it. You have to know when and why to use every single card. So that's why I felt like I needed to take the extra time here to go over why each card is in the deck. Here's a couple of play, what do they call them? Like play patterns, little tricks that a lot of people don't know about this deck. So you can use Poro Cannon. If you're gonna discard Poro Cannon and something else with Rummage, you might as well Poro Cannon away that card, so that way you get that extra spell in there for something like a Burble Fish, and then you can just rummage away the 2 Poros. So for instance, if I'm gonna rummage away Poro Cannon Death Ray, then I might as well just Poro Cannon away the Death Ray, get that extra spell count in, and then you can rummage away the 2 Poros, and it's the same thing. You've gotten rid of the same 2 cards. You've still gotten rid of the Death Ray, and you're still getting rid of like the Poros from the Poro Cannon, and you still get to cast Rummage. So you just get to have an extra spell. So make sure to look out for that, where you get the extra spell there. And then we'll quickly go over mulligans now. So mulligans for this deck are pretty simple. In almost every matchup, you're gonna want Twisted Fate and pick a card in your opening hand, and Ballistic Bot and Fizz, like some combination of those cards. Like Ballistic Bot's always a keep, Twisted Fate's almost always a keep. The only time I see it not being a keep is against something like Draven Ezreal. But everything that's not like Draven Ezreal, you want Twisted Fate, pick a card, Ballistic Bot, Fizz. And those are basically like that's basically your perfect mulligan. Outside of that, you don't really need anything specific. If you have Burble Fish, you don't want to get rid of Burble Fish. If you have the early game to support it, don't keep a hand that's like triple Burble Fish and something else that if it doesn't support the hand, you have to make sure you don't die leading up to your combo turn. So while keeping like 1 Burble Fish or 1 iterative is really nice, I would only do it if my hand was like TF, what is it called? Sorry, if my hand was like TF Ballistic Bot, then I would keep like double Burble Fish at that point. Or if my hand was even if I didn't have a TF, I would keep like Ballistic Bot double Burble Fish, because that hand sounds really, really good. And at that point, all you need is like 1 iterative and you win the game. So those are general mulligans. If you are going against something that plays a unit on 1, you could keep Death Ray. I wouldn't like hard mulligan for a Death Ray, unless it's like a Zoe deck. If it's very much a Zoe deck, then I would hard mulligan for Death Ray. Like I would literally discard my Twisted Fate to find a Death Ray, because killing a Zoe on turn 1 is a huge advantage for you. So yeah, that's the general mulligan guide. I'm gonna post a matchup guide in my Discord. It'll be free access, so all you have to do is just click on the Discord link below when you're watching this video, and you can go. There will be a hashtag deck guide channel, and if you click on that, it'll have a TF Fizz, a Burble Burn matchup spread, and it'll show you what I would do and how I try to win every single matchup and what I think the matchups are. So I'll tell you, like, is this a matchup favored, and then what to look for in the matchups and how to win the matchups. So that's it for this really long intro on going over the deck. Like I said, it's very warranted because you need to know why every card is in this deck or you're going to play it incorrectly. And these combo decks are really, really hard to play if you don't know why each card is in the deck, and you're going to have a not fun time. But I've had an amazing time. I think I have, my Mobalytics said I have about a 73% win rate with the deck in almost 100 games. I think I have like 90-something games played and ranked, and I have over a 70% win rate, which is like unheard of. Like, that's actually insane. I'm not trying to say I'm insane, but this deck is so insane that it holds over 70% win rate in almost 100 games. And like I said, the guy that was ranked 1 has over an 80% win rate with the deck. He hit over 1,200 LP. He gained 700 LP in less than a week playing this deck. So this deck is definitely nothing to scoff at. It is, in my opinion, the best deck in the game right now. We have seasonal tournament coming up in a week or two. This deck is going to be the deck to beat. Right now in the tournament meta, this deck is the deck to beat. It's not Lee Sin. It's not Draven Ezreal. If your lineup cannot beat Burble Burn, then you have to ban Burble Burn. That's what the tournament meta looks like right now. So, that's it for this intro, like I said. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you guys a game or two with the deck. Alright. So, it looks like we're playing against an Aphelios Zed deck. I haven't seen this deck before. This looks like a new deck to me. So we're going to go mulligan all this way, keep our Ballistic Bot. I have no idea what could be in this deck. I don't even know this deck existed. Aphelios came out literally like 30 minutes ago. So, I'll be completely honest with you, I don't even know what this card does. Let's go ahead and read this card together. The Nightfall, pick a moon weapon to create in your hand. Okay. Each round, the first time you play 2 other cards, create a phased moon weapon in hand if you don't already have one. So, phase is pick the next moon weapon for Aphelios. Okay, let's play my Fizz here. We're gonna play Fizz. So it looks like if you, whenever you play 2 other cards, you get to choose a phased moon weapon. So phase just means to pick the next moon weapon for Aphelios, and I believe you can't pick the same weapon twice or something like that. So I don't really know why he's playing this with Zed. I don't know what synergy it has with Zed. I could see like Aphelios Diana maybe, or like some other type of Nightfall, because you need to have a Nightfall activator for this. Let's see his level up. So Nightfall, pick a moon weapon to create in hand, so it's the same. Each round, the first time you play 2 or other cards, or round start, create a phase moon weapon in hand. Your phase moon weapons cost 1 less. Okay, so this is round start, you'll get 1, and it costs 1 mana. Okay, so let's go ahead and pass here. We probably could have swung it with the Ballistic Bolt. Sorry, I was too busy reading to see what the fuck Aphelios does. If he's anything like League, I just know that it's gonna take me 10 years to understand what he does. We're gonna get excited to Zed. Most of the time, I don't like using removal on champion, or sorry, I don't like using my burn spells as removal spells, but sometimes you honestly just have to, because, you know, like, Zed can get out of hand really quick. I don't have a good way to deal with Zed. So we're gonna go ahead and just play Twisted Fate here. And more than hating using my burn spell on that Zed, I hate the fact that I don't have 3 spell mana. If he played literally anything that wasn't Zed, I could have just kept my spell mana, cast Twisted Fate, pick a card this turn, and I probably would have won the game, because I don't believe this card or this deck has any way to actually remove like Twisted Fate. So press OK. Full level here. We're obviously not swinging with Fizz because he played a 2/3 elusive unit. So this is another Zed, so that's pretty unfortunate. But maybe we can draw into another way to kill Zed. If not, we're gonna block Zed with our Fizz. We drew the Mystic Shot, so that's really nice. We're still probably gonna block Zed with our Fizz, just in case he has a way to keep Zed alive. I don't want to have a leveled up Zed in my face. So we can do something like this. He didn't have any way to save Fizz, or save Zed last time. Looks like it's the same deal. So now we're going to go ahead and just TF. We're going to go ahead and shuffle this. What do you want to shuffle here? Probably just the Zap Spray Fin into our deck. No, we want to shuffle TF. So the way TF math works, for those of you that don't know, if you play TF, obviously we played him this last turn, so we're going to be 1 ahead. But if you go TF blue card, he's going to be at 2 cards. And then you pick a card. He's going to draw 4 cards on the next turn. He's going to be... Everybody. Sorry, he's going to be at 1 out of 8. So he's going to be at... What is this? Failed Temple. Each round, the first time you play 2 other cards, refill 2 mana, grant your strongest ally +1/+1. Interesting. Anyway, sorry, I got caught off guard. Basically, your Twisted Fate's going to be at 5 out of 8. Your Twisted Fate's going to be at 5 out of 8, which means you have to have a draw 2 card, which is going to be your Rummage or your Salvage, and then a Zap Spray Fin or another way. So that's why Static Shock is really good in this deck for the math reasons, is you'll have 5 mana on turn 5 after you go TF, blue card, pick a card. You'll have 5 mana. And if you go Zap Spray Fin into Rummage, that's an answer. Also, Rummage into Static Shock is the same 3 cards that you need to draw. So that's why Static Shock also helps you with your TF. So here, we're roping this guy. We have the level here. So we're going to go ahead and discard Ignition and Ballistic Bot. We do have the Iterative Improvement in the Burble Fin, so we probably already won this game. We have a leveled TF. We're going to have a really big combo turn. And we're looking pretty happy here. So our opponent conceded because we leveled our TF, and that's literally how strong this deck is that your opponent knows. Like, any high-level opponent knows at that point in the game, if you're not playing a removal spell heavy deck, if you're not playing a life gain deck, if you're not playing an elusive deck, you literally have no answer. At best, he could have had a second blocker there. Like, he could have had a second elusive blocker there, at best. And all that's saving him is 6 health. We're still going to get in there for, I think it would have been a minimum of 2 elusive blockers, which would have been another 6 damage. I don't recall what his life total was at, but it would have put him around 10-ish, I'm pretty sure, or somewhere around there. And we just have to find a way to burn him out. And on top of that, we have a leveled Twisted Fate, and he actually can never attack us with Zed. He can never attack us with Aphelios. And yeah, I mean, we're chilling. If you notice here, my LP, I think I'm top 26. That guy was 700 LP, so he was like way up here somewhere. Yeah, this was him. We just played against someone that was top 8, and I just destroyed him like it wasn't even close. So I'm pretty happy. This deck's pretty good. That was a fast game. Let's get into another one here. Alright, so we're against BBG, playing another Aphelios deck. So Aphelios Lee Sin. This deck is going to be the same thing. We're actually going to hard mulligan for this Twisted Fate, because these decks literally have no answer to... They have no way to kill a Twisted Fate outside of Lee Sin. So we can play Fizz on 1. They lost their 1-drop because they're not playing Zoe. So we don't really need this Death Ray. We're going to pass. We're going to pass. We have our turn 2 Coral creatures here. So he has Mountain Goat. No big deal. We'll just kill the Mountain Goat. Not worried about anything. We also could have gone like Coral creatures into Death Ray, but we really want to try and find this. We really want to try and find our Twisted Fate here. So we have Lunari Priestess. I guess that is a way to kill Twisted Fate if he finds it. If he finds like a Comet or something. But then at that point, they're trading away like 6 mana slow speed Comet. Maybe he's trying to find a Written in the Stars. I don't really know why this is in the deck. Wow. Yeah, see, like that's why Coral creatures are so good. He gave us a Rummage. Like Rummage is so nice. There's our Twisted Fate, so we're really happy. Nut draw here is if we find a pick a card. If we find a pick a card, we can have a level TF on 5. So we'll see if we can draw it. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't. But that's okay. So we'll block with Coral Creatures. And then we can start with the Markray Death 1 now. Because we're going to play the Zap Sprayfin anyways. And Zap Sprayfin will refill this mana here from Rummage. So we're really happy that he's basically forced into having Lee Sin next turn. If he doesn't have Lee Sin next turn, this game's basically... No, yeah, this game's 100% over if he doesn't have Lee Sin this turn. Even if he does, it's probably still over because we're just going to go pick a card into Rummage. We can actually even level our TF right now. No, we can't. We're 1 away. But yeah, let's... We have so much burn in our hand, which is really cool. We're going to go ahead and pick a card. What do we want to pick a card? We'll shuffle away the Aftershock. And we can do this. Where there's no real punish because he only has 3 mana, so he can't go like... Hush and, oh wait, he could have a Pale Cascade. Wait, this is a really big throw. I don't really know why I did this. I thought maybe people took Pale Cascade out of their deck. Okay. I assumed people took Pale Cascade out of their deck because why were you still playing Pale Cascade? So we'll wait and then we'll go ahead and cast a Rummage here on something and it'll probably pop off. So we're 1 away. So he has to open Hush. He didn't open Hush this. So we can Rummage away probably Death Ray and Mystic Shot. We'll see if we can draw into another TF. That'd be really cool. If we don't draw into TF, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but we're definitely going to be sad. So he did pull a Comet off one of the Priestess. There's a pick a card. I guess we're going to go ahead and iterative the Zap Sprayfin. And then... Yeah, we don't really need red card. Red card doesn't really do too much for us here. So there's no reason to keep going off. I'd rather just have the 4 mana in case I just draw into a Twisted Fate right here. And I'd rather be able to just play the Twisted Fate. And if not, I mean, I can just play this 3/3 Zap Sprayfin and be happy about my life. So unfortunately, we're 1 mana short from casting pick a card. If we could have cast pick a card here, we'd be super happy. Also, if we had 3 mana to just like get excited this Aphelios while he's tapped out, we'd be really happy. But yeah, we just pass here. There's not much to do. Coral Creatures is fine. Let's go ahead and just Rummage away you and one of the pick a cards. Let's see. So iterative, so we can just do more Zap Sprayfins. And this is where this deck just gets absolutely insane. Because even though we don't have Burbles, like our iteratives can still pop off with Zap Sprayfins. Like, look at our board right now. We have 3, 6, 9, 11 damage and elusives. And the sad part is we don't need all this to connect because we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 damage and burn. Like, we can literally, and I mean the word like literal, we can literally almost just burn him out here. Just straight up with damage. I'm going to go ahead and Rummage away this, though. Rummage, see if we can draw into a Burble before I attack. Okay. No Burble. So, we are just going to swing like this. I could have even swung with the Zap Sprayfin here. But yeah, he's at 7, and we have plenty of burn damage here, so we should be able to just burn him out through, like, he'd have to have, like, Star Shaping or something randomly in a Lee Sin deck, and I don't think he'd be playing that in a Lee Sin deck. So let's go ahead and look at Aphelios' weapons while we're here, because like I said, I was in the middle of reading him last game when I beat the guy. So, 2 mana, so these are all 2 mana, so I'm not going to repeat that part. Okay, so you got a lifelink unit. That's pretty cool. I don't think it'll matter, though. So this is deal 3 damage to a follower. Okay, 2 mana, give it something +1/+2 in lifesteal for the round. Stun an enemy. If it's a follower, stun it again the next round. Okay. 2 mana, give an ally +2/+1 in overwhelm. Okay. Summon a 2-cost follower from your deck. If it has Nightfall, activate it. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so he's at 4 mana here, so we should just have lethal. We should just have lethal. 3, 6, 9. So we force out a deny here. If he has it, we force out deny or guiding touch isn't enough, so it has to be basically deny or nopify. We know he didn't have nopify earlier to... Oh, no, sorry, this is the wrong guy. I was getting my games mixed up. So yes, deny. No problem. He's at 1. And he's gaining a bunch of life here, but like I said, it shouldn't matter because we should just be killing him with the more damage. So if Phillies doesn't have First Strike or anything, he has 4 Moon Weapon. So we can just block like this and say, okay, we'll take this damage here. But again, none of this should matter because we're going to play Zap Sprayfin. We have another elusive. We have more burn. And we even drew the Burble boys. So yeah, this game's looking to be pretty good for us. So stress testing. This is a cool card. Remove fleeting from all cards in hand. And when I'm fleeting, draw 1. Interesting. Okay, so we get more of these. Pick a card. Oh, wait, this is actually a really funny combo. You can remove fleeting from all the cards from your pick a card. That's pretty funny. Or, wait, I can discard this to get excited and draw 1. Wait, that's actually really funny. We're just going to go ahead and get rid of this card. Give our Fizz elusive, and then just swing in for a bunch of damage. So we'll put our 2s up front. Put our 3, 3, and 3 back here. Because if he hushes anything to block this, I'm assuming it's going to be Fizz. So we'll see here. But this is 2, 4, 7. This puts him at 1. So both of our burn spells here are going to be lethal. So he's going to have multiple, again, nopifies or denies or something like that. So until he taps under those mana, there's no reason to cast these because we have spell mana. So might as well try and like burn him down a bunch next turn. So he has the guiding touch here. That's fine. We can open with get excited. Double guiding touch. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, that doesn't matter. We still have burn. We just need him to not have either third guiding touch or a second deny or something of that nature. So there's burbles. There's some aftershocks. There's poro cannons. Okay. That shouldn't matter. Let's go ahead and draw a card here. Burble fish. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Again, we should probably still be able to kill him with these Burble boys. We drew all 3 Burbles, which is really good. And, like, this deck has so much, like, ways to kill through healing and kill through removal spells and stuff like that. He's going to open with that. Give it lifesteal this round. Sure, we don't care. We're just going to play more Burble boys. We're just going to play more Burble boys. Shakedown's really good because it allows us to be blocked by, like, this. Oh, it gives it overwhelm. Okay, so he has to have... Let's just go ahead and go for this, then. Let's go ahead and go in. He's out of deny, so he can only have nopify. And then if he has the nopify for the get excited, we have salvage, which can put him to 2. So static shock draws me a card and puts him to 2. This draws me 2 cards, but keeps him at 3. So if we draw his Mystic, this doesn't kill. But if we draw an Aftershock, it does. So let's see. Twisted Fate, Twisted Fate. Oof. That's less than ideal. What is this? Is this Lee Sin leveling? This Lee Sin is, in fact, leveling. Are we dead? We might be dead. Yeah. No, we're not dead because we have this Shakedown. So he is going to gain a bunch of life, but Shakedown should keep us from dying. Because it'll stop the Lee Sin kick. And then we should just be winning with, like, Twisted Fate after this. Yep, so that looks good. Looks good, looks good. Sure. So we are going to trade our 3-1 for this lifelink unit, maybe. Probably not, because we literally have to win next turn or we lose. We are gonna block things because I think we have to. I guess if we're gonna have to block things anyways, we might as well block the 4/3 lifelinker, right? Because this is 4, 7, 8, 15. Yeah, so we do have to block at least one thing. We can do this. We can give it to like these two. That stops Dragon Kick, so we have to block a 2 damage somewhere. So yeah, might as well just do this, right? Alright, we can just do this. Yep, that puts us at 1. I can't think of a 1 mana deal 1 damage card. So we're at 1, we'll take it. So now we just click pass. We play Twisted Fate. And we should be able to just kill with the Lucis now. Deep Meditation, sure. Sounds good. So he has to draw like some number of Hush or something. Okay. What do we draw? Burn Spell? No, we did draw a Burble Fish though, which is really good. Burble Fish is really good. So we can go ahead and zap Sprayfin here. Draw maybe an Iterative. Hey, my boy! He already knows what's up. Okay, there's the Iterative. And so we can Iterative a Burble Fish. Sure, Sonic waving that. Pretty weird. Oh, he's trying to give Lee Sin Barrier, I'm assuming. So that way the Lee Sin doesn't get really low. Deal 3 damage to a follower. That's fine because we needed to make room anyways, Mr. BBG. Thank you for making room for us. I appreciate you making room for us. Okay, do these Gravitons have Nightfall? No, they're just straight up deal 2 damage. Okay, so we have this. Maybe it's a parlay. Oh, it's a Ye Be Warned. I don't think that card really helps us. But I don't believe we have lethal, because this is only 2, 4, 6, 10. No, we do have lethal. We have exact lethal, unless he has like a Hush. So we can pull this to the side here. And yeah, we have lethal unless he has like Hush or something. Oh, let's see if he has Hush. He hasn't had Hush before. Wow, we have exact lethal. Wow, that was actually kind of... That was a little bit closer than I thought it would be. That was a little bit closer than I thought it was going to be, no lie. But, I mean, we'll take it. So, it was a pretty good game. Those are 2 really close games, 2 good games to show you like how the deck works, how the deck functions. You saw there through that last game, even through double Guiding Touch, even through the Deny, even through him killing my leveled up Twisted Fate, I still had enough engine to draw my entire deck to just keep drawing burn spells and keep drawing burn spells. And just winning the game. And in that matchup, if I had Mind Meld in my deck, it would have just gotten denied, and I'd be really sad. But instead of playing a stupid Mind Meld card, I'm playing 9 burn spells, so he can only deny 2 of them. So we're pretty happy. That's gonna be it for this video. Let me know what video you guys want to see next, or what deck you guys want to see next in the Deck Guide for Dummies series. I enjoy making these. I enjoy helping people out. If you have any questions about the deck, like if you have any questions about how to, do something else, or how to, maybe something I didn't cover in the video, if there's something you come across in your games, make sure to head over to my Discord or to my Twitch and ask me there. I'm always active on my Discord, and I stream on Twitch every day at noon Central Standard Time. So you can go ahead and ask me either way over there, DM me on Twitter, and I'll make sure to answer it for you. So make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.